So Cristi is making
Arroz con pollo.
awesome. And this is olive oil and
Onions. Yeah, because the onions, if you sweat them a bit and then put the rice, it gives it more flavor.
ooh, all right. Excellent tip right out the park right there. All right. And is that rice dry right out of the bag?
Yeah. It's just regular long grain rice.
Awesome.
And we're going to toast it before we do anything else because you don't want rice that's too wet.
Okay. Understood. And the chicken has already been taken off the bone. That's what that looks like. Boy, does that look good. And, oh, I see. You can get yourself a rotisserie chicken. And you could do it that way.
I mean, you can do it the other way, but this is a shortcut.
Definitely.
It's delicious.
That's right. Oh, that smells good already. Just enough olive oil to get the job done, right?
I might need to add a little more olive oil, but we'll see when we put the rice in.
Okay.
Because you want enough for the rice to kind of get coated.
All right. Wow. And you have that on
Pretty high. But
pretty high?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll probably lower it.
All
But
right.
this is just to get it toasted, so.
Oh, boy.
Unlike my daughter, who hates it, I kind of like my onions to be super toasty, like brownish, caramelized, kind of. My daughter hates that because she says it's burnt.
Oh. Okay. To each their own. Ah, right in there. Okay. Wow.
So you want enough oil in there to kind of coat the rice so it doesn't stick, and you want it to toast.
Gotcha.
What we're looking for is golden brown rice before we add the water and the seasonings.
And how much water will you be adding?
I don't know, enough to cover it.
Okay.
Yeah, you just, just keep adding.
Got it.
I am not a clean cook.
That's all good. So this here is
Poblano.
poblano.
Yeah, poblano pepper.
All right, and then we have the
Tomatoes.
sliced tomatoes. And there's that olive oil, extra virgin,
Garlic powder, onion powder.
garlic and onion powder,
Chicken bouillon.
chicken bouillon. Check.
More tomatoes.
More tomatoes, petite.
So tomato sauce, tomato paste, that'll all work. You just kind of want it to give it the red color.
But not too much.
Right, not too much.
We don't want to make it Italian like I did last time. Kind of got very liberal with the tomato sauce there.
I like tomato sauce though.
I do too, but
Sorry.
that's all good. This is awesome. Thank you for letting me film this.
It's going to be a bit before that toasts up.
All right. That's good. It won't be long. And where did you get this recipe?
My grandmother.
Ah, the best source there is. I mean, come on.
She was adamant that I knew how to cook rice.
All right. So when it comes to rice, like, what's your advice?
For
Well, like when you're making it for a meal like this, like when do you toast the rice and when don't you?
so in Mexican rice, you always toast the rice.
Ah,
If you're doing boiled rice, like I mean, there's times like I don't rinse the rice. Like, my grandmother never taught me to rinse the rice.
okay.
She always was just straight from the bag. But like if I'm making like rice for sushi balls or something like that, well then I'll rinse the rice and boil it and don't toast it.
Okay.
But
I see.
Mexican, at least Mexican arroz con pollo, it's always toasted rice.
Now see, I did not know that. Now I do. That's important. These little things are very important. And the smell is already intoxicating. Wow. And I saw you added oil as needed. Uh-huh.
Yeah, you just want it to lubricate the rice, really.
Oh, yeah. Look at that color. It's so beautiful. Wow.
So just like the onions and the rice, you also want to toast the poblano a little bit.
Okay, and that's what's happening here. Got it.
So you put it in later because it's a little more, it cooks faster.
Okay. Oh, that sound is wonderful. So here we are in South Central Texas, and so we're getting the right information. The right place, the right people. You better believe it. I mean, Tex-Mex is really popular here, but that's not Mexican food. This is more a traditional Mexican recipe. Is that right?
Well, my grandmother was from Monterrey, so her grandmother and her mom taught her.
Okay.
So I assume, I don't know, like, arroz con pollo is pretty standard in a lot of Latin countries. So everybody's got their own particular flavors.
Would you say this is like a Sunday dinner, like spaghetti and meatballs or something like that, like culturally?
It's kind of a staple, right? You have a bunch of chicken left over in the fridge. Or chicken that needs to get cooked pretty quickly. This is, it's a meat extender. So, I put a little bit of chicken in there with a lot of rice and vegetables, and then that will fill you up for the rest of the night.
For sure. Oh, wow. And it does. Now I can smell the poblano, and it's just intoxicating, truly.
I think this is my twist on it, mostly because I don't like bell peppers. And so my grandmother used to make it with chile dulce, so with bell peppers. But I never liked the taste of bell peppers, so I use poblanos instead because they're not quite as offensive to me. They do bring a little bit of heat sometimes, but not a lot.
It's minimal.
It's minimal.
It's a unique taste. I mean, if you're someone like me that you like a little kick, but you don't want to have to like run for the ranch, this is a good pepper to go with.
Yeah.
Okay, so I get it.
It's mostly flavor more than it is heat, which is what I want.
I get it.
So you see, most of the rice has turned this like opaque color, and some of it's taking on a golden hue.
Yes, indeed.
Some people will start putting the spices in the water and the tomatoes and stuff like that. I like mine a little toastier.
Got it.
I was once accused of liking my rice to be güerito, which is really light in color, which I was told that was not the way to do it.
Okay. All right.
I was like, sorry, Grandma. Sorry.
Sort of like when I didn't put enough basil in the recipes with my grandma. She's like, you could never have enough basil. But oregano, that's different. I'm like, really? And I found out. Too much oregano and it's bitter. But you can never have enough sweet basil. So, yeah, our grandmoms knew.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. It's looking really good. Gosh. So what part of Mexico was your grandmom from again? Like a northern, southern, central?
Yeah, so Monterrey is, the state is Nuevo León.
Okay.
Which is, from here by car, it's only about 6 hours.
Oh.
So we're about 3 hours from the border.
That's right. Okay.
So.
And what spices would you usually use, like traditionally for this?
Garlic, onion, sometimes cumin, depending on if you want a little bit of that. Cilantro is always good. I just didn't bring it.
Ah, I understand.
I just didn't have any. But I usually just stick to garlic, salt. Well, the salt really comes from the chicken bouillon.
Okay.
Which you wouldn't need if you cook the chicken from bone.
I get it. But you adapt. I get it totally. This way you are adding that with the bouillon.
Yeah.
Now, I've seen people talk about using the chicken stock that you can get off the grocery shelf in those little cartons. How do you feel about that? Like, how would that relate here?
It would be the same. It's just, more flavor than water.
Okay.
And that's really just the difference. But garlic, a little bit of cumin, a little bit of cilantro, the onion, the peppers, and that's it, really. And the chicken. Those are what really flavor it.
I'm seeing the color come through now. Wow. I've never browned rice before. I get it now. That's really novel.
Yeah, it's not brown rice, it's just browned.
Right, right. Oh yeah, what a great color.
It's almost ready. I like mine a little more colorful. But
Just a little more, huh? Nice. So what would you say was the favorite meal your grandma taught you to make?
my favorite is calabacita.
And what's that?
So calabacita is this pork, corn, and squash stew with tomatoes and onions. That's my favorite. But
That sounds good.
yeah, it's really good. But this is probably my second favorite. If not, well, it's really similar to fideo.
Okay, all right.
It's on par with fideo.
Well, I've had your fideo, and it's amazing. I had to actually remove myself because I couldn't stop eating it. That was on New Year's Eve. Oh, yeah, that was amazing. Okay.
So to stop the browning, you add the liquid.
Woo! There we go. I see. Now, if you had used the chicken stock in the carton, you'd be using less water. Is that right? Or okay, gotcha. Wow. And that's the, we raided the pantry. We got the petite cut tomatoes in some water, but ordinarily it would be a small can of tomato paste. Is that right?
Yeah, I could do a little tomato paste and then water.
And you want to be liberal with the garlic powder, is that right?
And the onion powder.
And the onion powder. There we go. Oh, wow. The smells right now, y'all should be jealous.
And then the chicken bouillon.
Oh, boy. I am thrilled. I got home from work and my family said, Christy and Anthony are coming and they're going to cook. And I was like, that's just fabulous. I didn't know it was my birthday.
So I'm looking at it. This is probably not enough water, but this pan is going to overflow once I put the chicken and the other tomatoes in.
Oh.
So we'll have to watch it and add the water. Now,
all right.
The key to good rice that's not sticky is you leave it alone. So you stir it around. You and your sticky rice. Yeah, I have to cook your sticky rice differently.
That's my niece. Oh, I see. I see what you're doing. After you put that bouillon in, you gave it a good stir. Mm-hmm. Now
and I'll probably give it one more good stir, but
okay.
And then I'll just let it boil, stir it one more time, reduce the heat, and let it simmer. And then just watch it.
Oh, y'all. Goodness. Fresh sliced tomato.
Just because I like tomato.
Now, I noticed I didn't see you do any salt and pepper.
No, there's enough saltiness in the bouillon, and there's a good amount of salt. I'll taste it in a little while to see if it needs any extra salt. I don't really use pepper all that much.
Gotcha.
Most of the flavor comes from the garlic powder and the onion powder.
All right.
And you add salt to taste, but I don't. Sometimes that rotisserie chicken can be a little salty. That chicken bouillon definitely is salty.
Yes, for sure. And right now, it's not quite all the way up to high. It's just past 6.
Yeah, and then when it starts to boil, I'll bring the heat down and let it simmer.
I see.
And then watch it to see if it's drying out. And if it's drying out, then I'll add more water and give it a stir. But the more you stir it, the more likely you are to make like a what's that called? See, I got the chicken jelly bits from the rotisserie chicken.
Oh yeah, more flavor. Yeah. You betcha.
What's that called? Risotto.
Yeah.
Or like congee. Like the more you stir it, the more the starch gets released, and then it becomes gummy.
Okay, I get it.
We don't do that with
all right. We don't want that. Understood. Wow. This is a treat in both, flavor and knowledge right here, y'all. I'm very appreciative that you're sharing this with us and really looking forward to sitting down and breaking some bread, as they say. Oh boy, this is no joke, y'all. If you could smell this now. Wow. And so you are, once this, you said a little bit of a boil, just above a simmer, right?
Yeah, you kind of like stir the boil out of it and then reduce the heat.
Okay.
And
at that point, you would cover it?
yeah, you have to cover it. Otherwise, the water will evaporate and it won't soak into the rice.
I see. All right. Oh, I'm excited. So these are all the ingredients we're looking at. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Wow. Well, folks, Grandma Alicia showed my sister Cristi how to make this, and I am honored that you came here tonight to do this for us. This is going to be some meal, folks. All right. And of course, you want to taste it, make sure that's right.
Okay, maybe I can use some salt.
A little salt? Okay. Just a bit. That's up there in the white on the right. Yep. There we go.
Sorry, it's a big pan.
It's all good. Bring all those flavors out for sure. And I can hear it bubbling.
But you know what I like the most about this is that it's one pan.
Yeah. Feed the whole family, one pan. There you go. And it really didn't look that hard to put together. You just got to know what you're doing when and why and have your ingredients. And there was a substitution because ordinarily you would have used a very small can of tomato paste, right?
Yeah, or tomato sauce.
And that's just for color, isn't that right?
Mostly.
Okay. Oh, wow. Okay.
Because I know it's going to need it later.
Uh-huh. The pot or the pan is never quite big enough. There's plenty of us. And how long does this, once you have the ingredients together and it's starting to simmer up, I can see it bubbling right now. How long does that take usually?
20 minutes or so.
That's not much.
Because really all you're doing is cooking the rice. And so you come in, you taste the rice and make sure that it's... What you're kind of looking for when we're looking at it is you leave it alone. And what you'll see is as the water gets absorbed by the rice, it leaves these little steam holes. And that's how I know that the rice should be done. So that's when I taste it. And if it's still crunchy, well, then I know I did not enough water. So I add more water and then let it continue to cook and absorb the water. And then look for those little steam pocket holes.
I see. Oh. Boy, well, it looks like a beautiful picture. All right, folks, we will return to see the finished meal and on the plate. I know it's going to be a wonderful meal. Thank you again, Cristi.
You're welcome.